DNA. It's like a blueprint for life. It determines what you're like, what sex you are. How many sexes are there? 2. Also, that's where he keeps his testosterone, so he's fucking well hard, right? And if you take a finger and flick a testicle, he's fucked. He's absolutely fucked. He's throwing up, he's on the floor, he's out of the game, absolutely kippered. Why are you putting it on the outside? For a laugh, just for a laugh. Artificial intelligence, the latest existential threat to humanity, the rise of the robots, so intelligent, they can teach themselves, they can teach each other, they can build each other, you know? Soon they know everything there is to know, and they hate us. Why wouldn't they, right? And they'll be so realistic, they'll walk amongst us, they'll go to work, right? You know when they're getting really human? When they start calling in sick. Mondays, I mean, they've learned all the tricks. They go, oh, I'm not coming in today. Why not? Oh, fed up. What's the matter with you? They sort of scan social media. ADHD. Self-diagnosed. They'll be in HR all the time, won't they? Be like, Ryan in accounts is robophobic. What would he say? Call me a whiny plastic cunt. I think we should be allowed to insult robots when it's happened, you know, because we've made them to make our life easier, and that would get things off our chest, because it's bad enough, isn't it, with real people, you're getting in trouble, saying the wrong thing, people taking things the wrong way now, like, oh my God, oh, I made fat Linda cry today, oh, what happened? I just shouted out to her, then I remembered we only call her that behind her back. I'm sure people didn't used to get offended all the time when I was little. I might be remembering it wrong, but not grown-ups, not your parents, not your grandparents. They grew up dodging bombs and their firstborn having polio and the menfolk dying at 50 of lung disease. They could take a fucking joke, right? It was all about the wind-up. I used to wind up my mum all the time. This is a true story. When I went off to university, after about a week, I phoned home. My mum answered. She went, "Oh?" I went, "It's Ricky." She went, "You all right?" I went, "Not really. I'm in hospital. I think I'm blind." She went, "What?" I went, "No, I'm only joking." Right? She went, "You silly bugger." She went, "I could have had a heart attack." Right? And she's right. She could have had a heart attack. And I knew that. That's how committed I am to having a laugh. You're welcome. You're welcome. Space travel, the last-ditch attempt. When we fuck this planet completely, can we leave its dying husk and move to a new one and start again? I don't think so. Not in my lifetime. Probably not in yours. You know, it's like the closest one, the only one viable, is Mars, and that's 9 months away on a rocket. Right? It's got no atmosphere, an average temperature of minus 70 degrees. How's this for irony? Scientists are working out whether they can detonate nuclear warheads in the crust to release the frozen water to cause an atmosphere and get a little bit of global warming going. I mean, I don't know. It's only billionaires have got enough money to waste on exploration. There's nothing out there, you know. It's like, now you can do space tourism. Have you heard of that? You can pay $150,000. They shoot you into space for an hour, and you float around going, I'm in space. I mean, we're already in space. Earth is right in the fucking middle of space, right? It's the best bit of space there is. It's got car parks and cinemas. It's like there's nothing else to see. It's like living in London and going, I wonder what Coventry's like. You don't... But I'm optimistic. I am. I think people care about the planet deep down. I think it's just that most people on the planet don't realise that most people on the planet are destroying the planet. Most people don't realise that in my lifetime, we've wiped out 70% of all animal populations. And what's left en masse on the earth of animals is 36% human, 60% farm animals just to feed humans, and 4% wild now. People don't realise that we have to tear down entire rainforests, the lungs of the earth, just to grow grain, to feed these cows, to feed us. We steal grain from third world countries because they want hard currency. They can't even feed their own people. We take their grain, feed our cattle. Meat eaters. If you eat meat every day, if you gave up 1 day a week, we'd feed another 100 million people. But I think people care. It's out of sight, out of mind. Think of the animal that most people know, their dog. They love their dog. They wouldn't let anyone hurt their dog. And a dog is a cow, is a sheep, is a deer. People love their dog so much, they won't even watch a fictional thing where a dog gets hurt. And I get that. There's a website, it's a real website. It's called doesthedogdie.com, right? And it was set up because people would watch a film or a program with a dog in it, and something would happen to the dog, and they'd turn it off. It would ruin it for them. It would ruin their day, right? So this website was set up. You could go to it, you could put in any film or TV show and ask, does a dog die? And someone would answer you, no, or whatever. And it's become a thing for anyone's phobias. Anything you don't want to see in a film, you just look up the film and they answer your question, right? So I looked up one film on here, Schindler's List. Absolutely real. Schindler's List, doesthedogdie.com, right? First question, does a dog die? No. Does a cat die? No. Are any animals abused? Someone answers, there is a chicken that's handled roughly, but otherwise unharmed. Now, I love animals more than anyone I know, but if I was Jewish, I'd be slightly offended by this avenue of questioning. Imagine that in real life. Imagine someone says, oh, yeah, my grandparents were murdered by the Nazis. You go, oh, what happened? Oh, they were dragged from their house and sent to the gas chamber. Oh, was a chicken hurt? What? But as I say, it's become, you can ask any question about anything. Someone says, is there child abuse? Is teeth damaged? Is there a hanging? Does someone struggle to breathe? Yeah. Well, yeah, yes. Someone says, does someone fall downstairs? Who's scared of slapstick? It's like... Anyway, so this website was founded in 2010, so it's run about 13 years, right? And the later questions start reflecting the times we live in now, and they get more and more fragile and narcissistic. These questions were asked this year. Check it out, Schindler's List, right? Someone says, are there any fat jokes? Would that make this worse? Well, imagine the real thing. Imagine I'm in a concentration camp, right? I'm naked, everyone around me is naked. We've got a commandant herding us towards a gas chamber, and he goes, move it, fatty, right? And I go, rude. No, that has ruined the whole experience, if I'm honest. Someone asks, is there hate speech? Yeah, there is. Suck it up, Buttercup. Are there any man in a dress jokes? Very few jokes. If you've come to this film for a giggle, you're going to be very disappointed. But this one takes the biscuit for me. Remember, this is a movie set in the 1940s about arguably the worst atrocity in civilized human history. Check this out. Is someone misgendered? Fucking hell. This is quite sweet. Is there any anti-Semitism? Yeah. This is pretty much the mother load, right? Forget Kanye. This is off the fucking charts. Don't do that when you're talking about this. Fuck's sake. I was doing the graph. I was doing like that. This is off the charts. That's... Wouldn't things have been different if that was Hitler's salute? The whole thing would have been... He goes like, it's Hitler. Like, hiya. This is interesting. Does it have a sad ending? Right? Someone says yes, and then someone else says no. And I thought about it. No, but then I remembered, if you've seen the film, if you remember, when the story sort of ends, Spielberg then tacks on a real bit of footage where he gets real-life descendants of people murdered in the Holocaust, and he films them coming into a Jewish cemetery, and they each leave a stone on the grave to represent their family members that were murdered, and it builds up, and it's very moving. And so I think I get the ambiguity. Does it have a sad ending? Yes, in the sense that 6 million Jews pointlessly lost their life, but no, in the sense there was still enough left over to build a little rockery. So... I asked one question myself on this. Is James Corden in it? I did look at one other film briefly, Titanic, right? And it's got all the same sort of questions. And the one where it goes, are any animals harmed? Someone answers, there were no explicit scenes of animals being harmed, but Rose did have a goldfish, which probably didn't make it. I think the goldfish in the bowl on the sideboard when the boat hits the iceberg, and he's all like that, right? And people are running around going, we're going in the water. And he's all smug then, and he's going, don't worry about it. Oh, no, not water. Oh. Then he gets in the sea and he goes, it's very salty, isn't it? It's very salty. I'll leave you with a true story. It's still on the theme of does the dog die? When I was 7 years old, my mum took me to the cinema to see a film called Old Yeller. Beautiful film, yeah, made in the late 50s and sort of set in the Wild West on this homestead. And it's about a kid who adopts this little junkyard dog and he calls him Old Yeller and they grow up together. And it's a buddy movie. It's a love story between this kid and this dog. And eventually, when the dog's big and, you know, he protects this kid in the wild, he fights a cougar and a bear and a wolf or whatever. But towards the end of the film, the kid's about 13, maybe. It takes a dark turn. I remember the kid sort of looking at Old Yeller, who's locked in the barn, and the mother's suspicious, right? And she goes, is it Old Yeller all right? He went, yeah, he's fine. But the kid knows that he's been bitten, right? And soon, Old Yeller starts foaming at the mouth and, getting aggressive. And the mother turns up with a gun, and the kid goes, no. And she goes, you know we've got to do it, boy. He goes, yeah, but he's my dog. I'll do it. And he shoots his own dog. And I was like in floods for like a year, right? Anyway, fast forward, right, a few years ago, I was on tour, I was on a train, and I get a text from Jane, and she says, I'm finally watching Old Yeller. And I sent back, enjoy, right? I didn't think, right? 20 minutes later, I get a text, nothing happens to that dog, does it? I couldn't believe my fucking luck. I thought she knew, So I sent back, no, of course not. 1 hour later, I get a text, you cunt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks to everyone who bought a ticket. If you bought a platinum ticket, the money goes to an animal charity, and you've raised $2 million so far, so thank you so much. I even get a bit of stick about that on social media. There's always someone who goes, why do you only speak up for animals? And I go, well, because they haven't got a voice of their own except parrots. And I think that's why we don't eat parrots. Everyone around the world eats every other type of bird, don't they? Everyone in the world eats fucking chickens and ducks and geese and turkeys and ostriches. No one eats parrots. Do you know why? If you go and try and eat a parrot, it goes, fuck off, you cunt. So speaking up really does work, right? And that has sort of been one of the themes of the show, because I know in the real world, in normal jobs, everyday life, you get in trouble. People tell you off for saying certain things or thinking certain things or even laughing at certain things, right? They say you're bad for laughing at that. And some of you take it to heart. You go, oh my God, am I a bad person? No, you're not. One, you can't choose your sense of humor. You can't, it's involuntary. And two, that's exactly what humor is for, to laugh at bad shit, to get us through it, right? And... And we've established you can't even choose your own thoughts. How often have you been on a train station and you've suddenly thought, what if I just pushed that bloke? And then you go, why have I thought that? Am I a psychopath? No, you're not. You're the opposite. You're a safe pair of hands. You're testing yourself. You're reminding yourself how terrible that would be. You're a good person, right? I don't get that one. what I get is I'm talking to a really sweet old lady and I suddenly start thinking, what if I just spat in her face now? Why would I... Another theme of... I mean, they've been trying to cancel me for about 15 years and they've always failed. And often the people trying to cancel me have been other comedians writing for the posh papers, doing that thing they always say, he's punching down. Well, comedy should punch up. We only punch up. We punch up. Their idea of punching up, they have a go at Boris Johnson. How the fuck is that punching up? You know, the cunt is learning disabled. He's like this fucking waterlogged Gary Busey, fucking albino Eggman thing. He can't string a sentence together. Have you heard him talk? He's like, he's a fucking moron. I punch up. I have a go at people like, I don't know, Stephen Hawking, right? Yes, the greatest brain that's ever lived. He can take it. And he wouldn't even have minded when he was alive because he's part robot, isn't he? I think he's basically a talking chair, so you can say what you want. And he was on Epstein's Island, apparently, so fuck him. I don't... What was he doing there? Why do I want to go? Why? Why? You're not just there doing fuck. I would go, what? I know pedos who'd kill for a ticket to that. And he's just taking up a space. It's probably DEI or something. And they go, we need one. Like, I'll go, what are you doing here, Steve? He go, I'm thinking weird shit. Fuck off. That is probably a hate crime. That is. It's a bit like Eddie Redmayne got in trouble when he played Stephen Hawking in the biopic, the life story of Stephen Hawking, right? Won an Oscar for it, and that's when the backlash started. People going, no, it should be played by a real disabled creature, all this, right? And they're going, the actor should have the same disability as the person they're portraying. But it was the life story of Stephen Hawking, right? So for the first part of the film, the cunt could walk, right? So I put it to you, what is easier? Getting an actor who can walk, pretend he can't for the last bit of the film, or get an actor who can't walk, pretend he can for the first bit? How would that even fucking work? Puppetry, think. You can't always find an actor with the same disability as the person they're portraying. They're fucking actors. What if they did a biopic of Helen Keller, the deaf, dumb and blind girl? Well, what's the chances of finding a deaf, dumb and blind actress who can play that role? And if you did, you go run into the director and go, we found a deaf, dumb and blind girl. What did she say? She didn't even answer the fucking phone. Oh, don't get me started. Oh. I did see one thing recently on YouTube, actually. Do you know the little fella from Game of Thrones? The actor, Peter Dinklage. Do you know Peter Dinklage? Yeah. He was at a junket, and it was for a new thing he was doing, right? And they were filming it. That's why it got leaked onto YouTube. And I don't know what brought it up, but he suddenly started going off on one. So I'm like, oh, God. He was going, it's fucking disgusting. They're still doing productions of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. For Christ's sake, it's fucking demeaning. It's 2023. He wasn't happy. He was grumpy, wasn't he? He's got a point now, hasn't he? Obviously, he's got a point. But the thing is, it's all right for him because he's a multi-millionaire Hollywood actor, and he's a great actor as well. He does Shakespeare and everything. A lot of dwarves in entertainment aren't that great. No, some of them are fucking... They're props, right? No, let's be... They're lucky to be fired from a fucking cannon, right? And so... dancing around Snow White for 3 weeks of the year, that is their, like, holy grail, and he's going to fuck it for them. If he takes that, what can they do? And he's not saying you should do Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with normal... I've just, I said earlier, I've never had a joke stopped by the Golden Globes, and that is absolutely true, but I've just remembered a joke that I stopped myself, because I bottled it a bit, and I think I was being overcautious. I want to share it with you, right? So, I got the chance to introduce Jason Momoa. Do you know who Jason Momoa is? Yeah, right? So I thought the meta joke would be to show my hypocrisy and my cowardice. Like, I'm okay to slag off actors, who's scared of actors, but when it comes to a big dude, right, I'm not so brave. So I was going to go, I've got nothing bad to say about our next presenter, because he's got a cock like a baby's arm, right? And I told my mate I was going to do that, and my mate went, do you think people think that's racist? I went, why is it racist? He went, well, because he's a person of colour. And I went, no, but it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with the fact that he's so big that he'd probably have a cock like a baby's arm, right? So I didn't do it. And I had a great follow-up as well. I'll tell you the whole thing. This is the whole thing. This is what I was going to do, right? Right. So I go out and go, I've got nothing bad to say about our next presenter because he's got a cock like a baby's arm. Unlike Peter Dinklage, who's got an arm like a baby's cock. It's great to hear. Oh, I miss the local pedo. Don't you? There was always one, wasn't there? Outside the school, you'd be with your mum and she'd go, look, there's a paedophile. Because he had the uniform of the pedo. You know what I mean? You could spot old bloke, bald on top, long down the sides, like that. And I'll go, that's a dirty pedo. Say hello, 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 like that. Dirty, look, that's what a fucking pedo looks like. Dirty fucking paedophile, right? That's what they look. If he touches you, we'll burn his house down. It was a good system, you know what I mean? But then Michael Jackson comes along and he breaks the mould, doesn't he? Because he's not an ugly bloke outside the school. I'm not saying Michael Jackson definitely was a paedophile. No one knows, only Michael and all those people he paid off. All I'm saying is that kids loved Michael. Kids loved Michael just to look at him, like a little Disney cartoon, wasn't he? And then his voice, hello, you know, that... Oh, Michael Jackson got up to any kid he wanted. Probably not like that, didn't he? Probably like that. That's another thing. Kids would go, there's Michael Jackson, but he's going away from us. He wasn't. He was going towards them. But people don't care, because he's so good. Right? He's so good. He's so popular as well. I think if he'd have lived to stand trial, he'd have beaten the rap, because everyone loves him. And he'd be so vulnerable in court as well, wouldn't he? He'd be there like that. And the judge would go, Michael, did you fiddle all those kids? And he'd go, hee. Judge would go, case it, get out of here, you scam, go on. Of the Golden Globes, right? And, thank you. I last hosted the Golden Globes in 2020. It was the 5th time over a 10-year period, and I liked them more and more, and the last one was my favourite, because the world changed in that 10 years. You know, like the first time I hosted them in like 2010, the press of America, they hated me. Right? Who is this annoying Brit insulting the most important people on the planet? By the last time I hosted, they were like, yeah, go on, fuck them. Fuck them, right? Because ordinary people had got sick and tired of being lectured by these multi-millionaire, nothing wrong with that, these liberal elite entertainers telling them how to vote and how to recycle, when everyone knew they were getting free jet rides to Pedo Island. So it really hit the zeitgeist. But it was always the same deal. Whenever they said, do you want to host? I said, yeah, I'll host. I said, but I'm going to write all my own jokes, which is unheard of, apparently. I said, I'm going to write all my own jokes, and I'm not going to rehearse, so you can't hear the jokes beforehand, and you can't cancel any. And they let me do that. I did have to show a lawyer the jokes about an hour before to make sure I hadn't broken any laws, and I never had, because I know the law. Sometimes the lawyer would go, are you sure you want to say that? Right? And I go, is it legal? They go, yep, technically. I go, let's do it, right? I've never had a joke stopped by the Golden Globes. That says something about them, to be fair, right? So I always go, oh, God, no. I wouldn't even say if that had happened, because I don't like gossip, to be honest, right? There was one guy I thought took it the wrong way, right? It wasn't a bad... No, the cameras went to him, and I'm not in control of the cameras, so I think he was caught in the headlights. It was Elton John, right? But it wasn't a bad joke. I was introducing Madonna, okay? And I later found out that him and Madonna were in this feud, and he hated being mentioned in the same sentence as her. But I didn't know at the time. I was confused, right? And it wasn't part of the monologue, but I'm there for like 3 hours, right? And now and again, the stage manager put a head around the door and go, do you want to introduce so-and-so? And I'll go, yeah, fine. And I'll come out and I either do it straight or I ad-lib. And this was little ad-lib because I saw Elton in the front row, right? So this was a joke. I came out and I said, our next presenter is the Queen of Pop. Not you, Elton. Sit down, right? And it sort of went to him, he sort of went, and I was like, oh, fuck, he hated that. And I was thinking, why is he, I was like, oh, God, do you think I'm homophobic? Oh, I'm not homophobic. There's always in my head. Then I thought, he must have heard worse, right? In the 1980s, right, when Elton John was in the closet, he wasn't out, he was married to a woman, right? He was also chairman of Watford Football Club. And he and his then wife would go along and watch Watford play, and the entire crowd would sing, "Don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse." Which puts my little quip into perspective. I don't know how football fans know how to start at the right time in the same key. Do they hand out sheet music before we're doing willy up the arse in C? Jeff's doing a solo. It's like, and what they usually do, they get a traditional tune so everyone knows it, and they change the lyrics. Some genius changes the lyrics, right, to be as offensive about someone or something or somewhere or whatever, right? So the tune they used to use, I remember it, it was that old Cockney knees up song. My old man said, follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way. Do you know that one? Remember the term dilly-dally? They use it very creatively in their version, right? So this was their lyric. It was the 80s. It's not politically correct. I apologise. But they're football hooligans. What are you going to do, right? So let's analyse their genius lyrics, right? This is what they used to sing. Don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse. I mean, you might. I know, not necessarily his, but, you know, like mathematicians amongst you would have to go, yeah, there's a slight... Like, if 1,000 people bent down when Elton was around, one of them might randomly... Someone might come off a bicycle and go, sorry, like that, and they go, oh, fuck, and the scientists will go, one. Do you know what I mean? There's a slight... Also, when Elton's around, that's ambiguous. That could fit... Like, you could have two gentlemen having anal sex in a hotel room, right? And then the next day they find out that Elton John was staying in the next room. They go, oh, I got a willy up the arse when Elton was around, you know? I'll give them that, anyway. Don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse. He has the nerve. And it goes, he dallies and dillies. They've reversed it. Why? He dallies and dillies. He plays with people's willies. Again, I don't know what play with means in this context. It could be like, wow. It could be anything, couldn't it? Wow. I thought you were going to suck it. No. He dallies and dillies, he plays with people's willies, he's up every arse in town. I'd stop him there, I'd go, no, you know, that is provably false. He's not up every arse in town, is he? We can prove that, right there. Take a small town, take Watford, 120,000 people. He is not up 120,000 arses, is it? I mean, half of them are women, so 60,000 tops, right? And I don't think he's been up 60,000. And if he has, good luck to him, but that's not my point. This is my point, right? What did his then wife think of that? Because he's in the closet, right? You know, and she's just married Elton John the Pop. She couldn't be, she's in love. She's so proud of him. Elton John, and he's chairman of Watford. She goes like, I'm married Elton John the Pop Star. I'm married to Elton John the Pop Star. And then the entire crowd sing, don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse. She must have gone, why are they singing that, Elton? And he goes round to see that, but I am going to spend my entire fortune from now on private jets to make sure it definitely fucking happens. We're going to be the first generation that future generations are jealous of, right? Because we had it all, and we're using it all up. We're using up all the fresh water. We're using up all the fossil fuel, right? Usually you look back in history and you feel sorry for it. You go, oh, how did they live like that? Oh, how did they get around? No indoor toilets. I've got 9 toilets in my house. And sometimes I just run around flushing them for a laugh, like that. Just so that in 40 years' time, Greta Thunberg has to shit out of a window. I've got 28 radiators. I always have them on full. Then I put the aircon on full, and it sort of settles at about... I should do political stuff now I'm woke, but I don't like it when a comedian just spouts his own political views and it relies on the audience agreeing with him to get a round of applause. I think that loses something comedically. I want everyone to like my jokes. Whatever your political persuasion, a joke shouldn't have a political wing. You know, I'm political in my private life, like everyone. You know, like, I'm sometimes incensed by the inequalities in our society. We're in the 7th richest economy in the world, right? And there's homelessness. There's 250,000 homeless people in Britain. Now, I wish there were no homeless people, because they're fucking horrible. Aren't they? You know? Oh. Oh, yeah, right next to the fucking cash point, you cheeky cunt. It is a serious problem, and I hope none of you ever find yourself homeless. But if you do, my advice is